Film the kids? Why would we film the kids? Why would you ask such a strange thing?
Because there's kids there.
Oh, such a strange thing to ask.
That's literally a strange thing to ask.
I think you're a strange man.
That's...
Yeah, you're right. Another juicy video.
Let me shit.
What it says?
Yeah, look.
Just let me shit. What the fuck? Yeah, you can.
Can't even hear him. Let's go around and see if we can hear him.
Let me shit in that. What the fuck? What song? Big one will be in London, isn't it?
Yeah, probably will be big.
How is it? That's what the ruling was on Wednesday.
Meeting, isn't it? It's more like a meeting, isn't it?
No, there's not many people do, but that's what it comes down to.
There's a lot of people who grow up their whole lives thinking that they're biologically female, and then they find out later that they've got X chromosomes.
Okay.
So that can mean that they are very even if they know all their lives.
Yeah, but if they went in a men's toilet, then they'd be told off for going in there.
And open to assault.
Sounds really complicated.
Yeah.
But what it
And
comes
the
down
same
to
as
now,
well, it's basically
It's just trying to But it's not about protecting women, because if it was about protecting women, that's like saying that men can't use women's toilets because all men are dodgy.
What about the gender recognition certificates though? Doesn't that kind of do the same thing as what's going on here anyway?
It's neutralised them. They mean nothing.
Oh my God, you can't be on YouTube or anything, are you?
I'll record everything. I'll go around and record all sorts of stuff. Don't worry about
put
it.
me on anything.
Don't worry. You look good. You look good today anyway. Don't worry about it.
Please don't.
Because you still technically can change your birth certificate though, can't you? Through doing that.
Anyway,
Even with the
thank
court
you for
ruling.
talking to us. Thank you.
Technically, yes, but it doesn't mean anything because they can still insist that if you're biologically male,
Right.
you can't get into women's spaces anyway.
Well,
Hospitals, swimming baths,
Yeah, yeah.
public loos.
the whole standpoint of it, like you've got people obviously on both sides. Again, I'm more curious. That's why I've come today, to be honest with you. I'm more curious because, like, personally, me and my personal aspect of it, having say like a biological man, for instance, in a female sport, I feel there's a disadvantage then for a woman anyway. What's your standpoint on that?
The scientific evidence shows that when somebody transitions, not only do they lose their muscle mass and their stamina,
Right.
they also get a disadvantage because you've got more mass to move.
Yeah, but in combat sports especially, it's dangerous, man, because men are stronger than women biologically.
No, that's what I've just said.
Yeah.
The strength leaves you because testosterone is a steroid, and when you're no longer on that strength leaves you. It goes.
So if someone's trained all their life, say for instance as being a bodybuilder, start taking estrogen for instance, is that then obviously none of the muscle memory
It's
would come back
about a year and a half, and the strength gains disappear
quite drastically?
drastically. It's like somebody who comes off steroids, when they've been working with steroids the whole time. As soon as they stop using them, those strength gains dissipate. You might still have the muscle mass, but the strength has gone down, and you've also got increased size of joints, size of bones. You've got more to move around, but with less muscle.
So what is the fear then at the minute? The fear at the minute is that with this ruling, those certificates are then going to become, like you say, become null and void, even though currently you can still obviously change your birth certificate and change pretty much everything that obviously kind of I suppose you're protesting about in a sense. Is that what you're actually worried about?
It's more so not really just about us. It's about people being prescribed their gender and being told what they can be, what they should look like, how they should behave, and so we're always the first target. And like I was saying to the lady, women have been kicked out of women's toilets, biological female women, because they don't fit people's expectations of what they should look like. So there's
Where's
news
the evidence
there.
of that? I ain't never seen that.
It's happened. There's news reports about it. A lesbian woman was recently kicked out of a loo because she had short hair, looked boyish, and she got kicked out.
What about? I'm curious if you. I don't know. Again, I'm only kind of brushed up on the topic a little bit. What about the links between like autism and obviously gender dysphoria? You seem to
There's-
find people that have transitioned. There's a lot of obviously studies where they've obviously people have regretted.
I can get into the
transitioning.
science if you
Yeah,
like.
just a bit curious on what
So-
your standpoint is with it.
I have a gene for aromatase deficiency. Aromatase is used to turn testosterone into estrogen, strangely, to masculinize the brains of boys when they're developing.
Yeah.
Because female and male brains are slightly different.
Oh, yeah.
Ever so slightly. And the default is actually female. So if you don't have this aromatase to catalyze the hormone interactions, you develop along a female pathway. So you get a brain that's female in a body that is outwardly male.
No, it's good. You know what? It's good to see the point of view in all honesty, because I don't know personally. I don't know any trans people personally, so it's nice to actually speak to someone sound.
But the neurodivergence thing, because it's about gene methylization. So the prevailing theory is the same thing that causes trans brain structure is the same thing that causes neurodivergence like ADHD, autistic spectrum disorder, hypermobility, because epigenetics. So epigenetics gets switched on and off depending on gene methylizations. Sorry, I'm really nerdy about
No, I
genetics.
understand. No, my missus is a psychologist. She's got a master's degree in psychology, so it's all quite interesting, to be honest with you. Just like I said, I don't personally know any trans people, so it's quite interesting to have the other side of the argument, to be honest with you. Because I like to try and get facts from both sides, in all honesty, because obviously my personal standpoint is obviously having someone that's genetically male in the bathroom, or having daughters, it bothers me, in all honesty. But again, there's always going to be wrong and rights in each community.
But what this is leading to, because people don't want to spend money to make, because what the suggestion is that we have like a gender neutral area and a male and female area. Well, they're not going to do that. They're just going to have a mixed space, like they do in most public places.
That's what's
where
changed.
there's
A
no
lot of
male
things
and
have
female.
changed for the better nowadays. That's the thing. Like you've got a lot of even in my daughter's school. There's obviously there's gender neutral bathrooms, for instance, and it's in a lot of universities and places like that.
So the concerns will just be, men in women's spaces. It's going to create more men in women's spaces because they will be sharing the same space.
But what I have found though, because I've spoken to this with my daughter, for instance, is they still keep it as girls and boys toilets in most places. Though. Like that
Well, there
is
should
quite-
just be. I mean, I'm in agreement.
Not
there
saying that
should
it is,
just
but
be.
it's down as say like a gender neutral bathroom.
There
but
should be
the girls
cubicles
kind of
anyway.
monitor it, and the boys kind of monitor it in a way. It's they're kind of like the segregation. Strangely, is still there, even though as far forward as things have pushed. It does still happen quite often.
But for me, the concern is predators do exist, but people don't take HRT to become a predator. It's just.
See, I feel like maybe that's where you're suffering a little bit, where a lot of that side of things is more on the male side when it comes to being careful with children. So that's where the concern probably is more, lies a little bit for a lot of parents. But obviously, few bad apples ruin a barrel, didn't
basically,
they?
that's the downside. It's trying to police that is going to be incredibly hard to do anyway.
Yeah.
That's the downside of it. But no, I appreciate your time, man. You've been a nice person to talk to. No, we normally get bothered, to be honest with you. But
I feel knows the process. I get grief all the time.
yeah, we always end up getting grief, to be honest with you. No, it's good. It's good to see the perspective of it.
I don't mind. Yeah, people going around asking questions.
Yeah.
It's how you learn.
Well, this is it. This is where a lot of where I feel we've gone wrong in society at the minute. Anyway, is people asking questions and getting attacked for asking simple questions. Now, my perspective is probably going to be massively different to your perspective, and that's okay, and that's all right, and that's not really an issue at the end of the day. We're going to not see eye to eye and everything.
No.
But no, I do. That's fair enough. So what's the main drive? What's the main drive today then? Basically, is it
It's
just
to point out that we do still exist. We're not going to disappear just because the law says, this, that, or the other. We're still going to exist. I grew up under Section 28. They banned the teaching of all LGBTQ education from Thatcher's era all the way up to 2003. So I was 20 years old when it was legal to teach that LGBTQ people even existed. So you can see why people do get mental illness issues, because they're growing up alone without any knowledge that other people like them exist.
There is that as well. But there is a lot of support nowadays, to be honest with you. Pretty much everything. I believe there's
Really?
things. Yeah, you got social media for everything these days.
Oh, social media,
There's a
yeah.
lot of support groups for everything. Trying to explore things.
I went to the NHS when I was at university.
The NHS, yeah, that's useless for everything. Let's be real. It's useless for everything. No one can win with the NHS. You need to privatise. It's the only real way you can win at the minute, isn't it? Trying to sell everything off the government, aren't they? Just screwing everyone.
Never walk around, bro. Fucking, it's just, that's just weird. Why don't you just fucking protest for gender neutral bathrooms for yourselves? How about that?
Well, that's what they've kind of got anyway, to be honest with you. But you find like,
You know, like a disabled toilet.
well, like in my daughters, obviously.
Yeah, let them just use the disabled toilet.
All that, yeah, that's all that theoretically. Yes,
Just
they
do
could.
that.
Well, they could do technically because it's classed as a mental
one
disability. It's what
what-
they class in the DSM-5. That's what it's classed as, isn't it? It's a mental illness. Is what
Is
they
it?
say. Under the DSM-5, that's what it's classed as.
As if it's the technicality.
Yeah, technically, it's obviously the world. Obviously, it's the Psychological Association. You know, and it's obviously from the States.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It is in the DSM-5. It's classed as obviously before, but they did have obviously being gay was classed as an issue in the DSM-4, which didn't get written out until the 80s. But it's classed currently as a mental illness. That's what it is, and it's the same when you go to fill out one of the forms to obviously affirm your gender, for instance. You have to be, like, one of the things in there is to be diagnosed with gender dysphoria. So, and then obviously you'd be living your life for 2 years as, say, the opposite sex, for instance, to then be able to change things like your birth certificate and things like that, which obviously they still can do. That's not changed. There's no, obviously, difference as it stands. But that's the downside sometimes, and it's wrong place. The worst thing is
You're live on YouTube.
obviously it kills trade.
It's hard to
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. You understand. That's it. You can appreciate all of it as well. It's like my daughter's lesbian, you know, at the end of the day. But it's hard for us to trade in this situation. To be honest, you tend to find I'll be honest with you, I go to a lot of protests, and 9 times out of 10, it's not us that are the problem. I'll be straight up and honest with you. I'm just recording it. So, like, people have a right to protest, for instance. So people have their right to protest, yet they can't value my right to record what's going on. So it goes both ways. We're all covered under Article 10 at the end of the day, the Human Rights Convention. Yeah. If no one can appreciate that, 9 times out of 10, it's people actually have to protest complaining about it. And I'm standing here, as you probably all know, standing here minding our own business. For the most part, but it's 9 times out of 10 it's nothing to do with us, it's everybody else, and that's what we find literally every single time. I've been attacked, I've been hit with planks before for just standing there. I've been hit with all sorts, so it does happen, and 9 times out of 10 the agitators are actually people at the protest. Just for recording, but 9 times out of 10 it's people at the protest.
It's the people that take action on the recording.
That's it, and it's always the people that are involved with the protest that cause the problems. 99% of the time, if you go look on our channel, every protest we've been to all sorts of different protests. Every single time there's someone that is involved with the protest.
Personally, very emotional.
Asking questions. If you don't ask questions to get an understanding, you're never going to get anywhere.
And like, there's been some
So yeah, normally.
Yeah, so that was that. It's quite a calm one. We'll hang around for another 10 minutes. But yeah, these stalls, it costs them a lot of money to be here, man. Fucking few hundred quid.
No, I don't know.
How much is the stall for? How much does it cost you to be here for the day?
£100.
100 quid. It's not too bad, it's alright. Yeah.
Too bad.
Yeah, so 100 quid. But obviously, if they've not had the custom because this has been here.
That's the traffic there.
Look, this is the traffic here, look. So, because it's coming like that, it will affect them, right?
Cuts off pretty much all the traffic, pretty much.
Yeah, there's a couple of hotels I'm going to go into soon, but guys.
But surprisingly quite a lot of people here.
Yeah.
I thought they would have done a march or something, but
Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Obviously, it's quite a calm one today, which makes a change.
You're not filming the
film
Kids?
the kids. Why would we film the kids?
Why would we
would you
film
ask
kids?
such a strange thing?
because there's kids there.
That's such a strange thing to ask.
That's literally a strange thing to
I
ask.
think you're a strange.
That's fine.
Oh, you
by
think
me.
we're strange
That's
people?
fine by me, but that's a weird thing to ask
I
unless
saw
that's
you
something on your
I will
mind.
film what I want when I want, however
Genuinely.
I want to.
You know we're out in public here. You understand
Yes,
that,
but
right?
they're still kids.
Understandable.
Yeah,
There's kids
accidental
everywhere you go.
inclusion.
Yes.
And there's no law against
got
that.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah, so do I.
I've got a grandkid. I've got kids, so.
Don't get it twisted. Yeah. I can do
Not what?
You're
Film
standing
what?
in public.
You just approached us. Of course, you're going to get filmed.
Yeah, you're literally standing in public, mate. That's as simple as that. There's no two ways around it.
I know. I see.
Yeah.
Bye bye. See you later. Have fun. Weird accusation.
What a weird thing to say, man.
All your weird things to say.
Saying we're filming
Don't
kids.
film the kids. Why? What do you want about?
Where's their kids?
Huh?
I don't see any kids.
I don't see any kids either.
The only kid I see is that baby. Filming
Strange
kids.
thing to say. Why do they say that? Is that like to offend people to stop them from recording?
You know what I
Very
mean?
weird
Talking
thing to
about
say.
kids when hasn't half of this debate about protecting children.
Yeah, literally. Well,
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, isn't half of this about like the ruling is about toilet stuff? It's to do, part of it's to do with kids in it. Are you telling me that I'm weird because I'm filming kids?
no, if that's the first thing that comes into someone's mind, they've got a really freaking
Strange mind. Yeah, it's like when online when people start using the nonce word all of the time.
Yeah, that's it.
Why are you going straight to that?
Don't.
Strange. Now I'm definitely going to film. I was going to go off the live then as well.
It's just weird to say to people though, isn't it?
I know, what a strange thing to
That's
say.
the first thing that comes into your head. I bet there's about 30 or 40 cameras. Oh, actually, do you know what? She didn't have asked that lad over there that was recording on his phone.
Whether he was filming
that
kids.
wasn't
Filming kids. I don't want to film your kids, don't flatter yourself.
Yeah, not interested. Only not interested.
I'm keeping rolling, mate, don't worry. I've got my body camera as well.
That's the first thing that comes across your mind.
There ain't no police. There's never any police when I go to places.
You act like I'm not all over the internet, mate. Grow up.
Accusing people of filming kids.
Seriously, grow up.
Slander, mate. Oh, I'm alright. These lot are scared of themselves, let alone us.
You know what? It's just offensive. Talk about offending me, and then that is just
Talk about,
try to
talk
offend
about
me.
equality and inclusion, and then accuse us of filming kids.
It's just the weirdest thing.
There isn't a kid in, that's what I'm saying, there ain't no kid. But yeah, guys, I'm going to go off the live, but big up. Thanks for watching, appreciate it. Hit the like and subscribe and that, people. But yeah, if anything else happens, I've got my body cam on anyway, but I'll speak to you in a bit, people. Peace!
Listen, there's no march going on. That must have been the quietest protest I've ever heard there. The world quiet protest. Literally no members of the public heard a thing. Very different to me.
Stand around and have a fag.
I guess that's Jules.
What is that?
Was it Jules clothing shop? They got screwed over, I suppose, didn't they?
Everybody here.
I don't think she liked my answer. She or he liked my answer.
Yeah,
is the- what is
I'll
the
stretch that
result-
I'll stretch
what
that to a
is-
minute and a half, minute and 1 second.
What is the resolve to this? So I didn't hear one solution. What's the solution? Because if you go down the whole side of binary, for instance, and that then becomes a recognised gender in that, you're then going to have to build different prisons, different bathrooms, different institutions, different probably everything.
Yeah.
Where does it stop?
For like a 100% the minority.
Yeah.
Like a small minority
for a
as
small
well.
minority, where does it stop? That's the thing. Is that I understand everyone's like nobody's human rights affected because we're all governed under the same human rights convention.
Yeah.
And in this country, you're very free to be who you want to be. Let's be honest. But there just seems to be a slight discrepancy that needs resolving, to where everyone just needs to just kind of shut up and get along, basically. Because no one's actually really, since this whole time being here, not one person has called out any slander or any hate towards anybody here. So how is there no acceptance?
That's what I'm saying.
Talking about there is massive amounts of acceptance, not one bit of slander here.
Right, this hotel's here. We're going to walk to it after this.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a clue what the resolve is for this thing, really. Because also you can still obviously get the certificate at the end of the day as well, which kind of solves that. Nothing's actually changed just yet. So they're in fear of that, it's understandable. Yeah, how far away is it?
0.2 miles. It's in the town centre.
In the town centre?
Yeah, Thorns Hotel.